I am super excited because Sabrina is like, I think we met in Cabo, but you were like, you're one of those type of people where I just met and I instantly knew we had a connection. Like, I didn't know what it was, but I was like, dude, she is my people. Like, you just have that presence and vulnerability and acceptance just about who you are. And so I'm super excited for you to share your story, your journey, some tips and tricks. You guys be thinking about some questions that you might have for Sabrina and I. We're going to go over after she shares a little bit about her journey, some leadership stuff, some good stuff. You guys are going to want to take notes too. At the end, we will go over any questions that you might have. So I'll go ahead and kick it off to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rebekah. When Rebekah messaged me and asked me to do this, I love doing these types of trainings, and anything that I could do to help, at least if it helps one of y'all, that's better than not speaking at all. And I feel the same. Like, I don't even know. I think you were laying out and you were like, Sabrina. And I agree. It just was instant. It was instant. And since then, we've been following each other, and on lifestyle getaways, we run into each other. We hung out a lot at the last one in Punta Cana. And so it's just really cool how we're side sisters and we don't even like benefit one another, but we connected. And I love following you and your journey, and everything. You're very inspiring. So hi, everyone. I'm Sabrina 4. I am a 200K leader. I am on Courtney Glaser's team. I am a mom. I have almost 5. Lily will be 5 on Tuesday. And I'm like, I have a 5-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old son. And I live in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm married. And my Thrive journey started about 3 years ago. So July of 2019, and I'll kind of rewind a little bit. So I want to tell you guys just my story, how I got to 200K, what has happened since the time I hit 200K, my team hit 200K to where I'm at now, because it's been a crazy journey. And then just some tips and tricks talking about like the comparison trap and attitude, and just some leadership do's and kind of don'ts. And then whatever questions you guys have, for sure, like there are no stupid questions. So don't hold back. I love answering, doing the Q&A. So Courtney Glaser and I were next door neighbors I've known her for like 9 years. So her and I were next door neighbors. And at this time, back in 2019, Lily was 2, Witten was 4. I was struggling postpartum. I couldn't lose the postpartum weight. I was drinking 4 to 6 cups of coffee every single morning, Monster energy drinks on my lunch break. I was rolling back the seat, taking naps in my car on my lunch breaks. I just was that tired, exhausted, rundown mom. I was working a 9 to 5 that I hated. I was working for an executive admin. I was an executive admin for a CEO at a lumber manufacturing company. Prior to that, I was in customer service. So guys, I've known nothing about network marketing until I started with Lavelle. So I pretty much just knew 9 to 5, you go to college, you get the degree, and you work, right? So that's what I was doing, miserable, stuck, tired, hating my job, and just moody and all the things, right? So I watched Courtney for years, promoting with It Works, and then she switched to Lavelle, and I just saw this transformation in her, you know? She started losing weight. She became sober. She was able to quit her at-home daycare. She rode up in a brand new Cadillac, and her husband had a brand new BMW. And I was like, what is going on? You could just see this transformation in her. And finally I was like, okay, Courtney, hook me up with a sample. And guys, I was like the biggest skeptic. Like, I unfollowed her on Instagram because I didn't want to see her posts anymore about freaking Thrive. Like, I was the biggest skeptic. I turned my nose up at it. I judged. I didn't believe anything I saw really on social media because I had such a fixed mindset that I just wasn't open to anything other than a 9 to 5, right? So as I'm telling this story, just y'all think about, like, your next door neighbor may be your next 200K. Like, that person who is one of your best friends that may not want to do this business, may be your next 200K. So finally I was like, all right, man. All right, let me try a freaking sample, dude. Let me try a sample. And she hooked me up. She gave me like 5 days worth, and she was on my butt about follow-up. Like when I tell you it is all about follow-up, like she followed up with me the next day, the day after that. How are you feeling? How's your energy? And honestly, if she wouldn't have followed up the way she did, I don't know if I would have said yes. Like, so the follow-up is so crucial. Like the follow-up is so crucial. And yes, fortune's in the follow-up. That's so true. And so I told her honestly, like I really didn't feel a whole lot like difference, you know, like I needed that, like I needed that extra pump. So she hooked me up with men's capsules. She hooked me up with the burn label. And I would say it was day 7. I'll never forget. I was driving to work and my coffee was just in there. I hadn't even had any of my coffee. I had this like light, like I just clear-minded. I was like, oh my gosh. And then after that, it's kind of like I didn't want coffee anymore. I didn't need it. I wasn't grabbing the Monster Energy drinks. And I'm like, okay, man, like, let's do this. Like, so day 7. And so that just goes to show, guys, like just because you're sampling someone and they're not a day 1 or day 3 thriver, make sure you're checking in on them. Make sure you're following up and just asking how they're feeling, because if Courtney wouldn't have upgraded me on those 2 products and followed up with me, I may not be here. I may not be here. So anyway, I hit the promoter button. I wasn't even a customer, hit the promoter button, had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to do stories. I didn't know how to do filters. I didn't know what hashtags were. Y'all, I was like, when you talk about like ground zero, like starting from the bottom, like I was that person. Like Courtney was like, this should be interesting because she doesn't know anything. I had no experience. I had no idea what I was doing. And I was like, you know what? I hate my job. I love this product. Let's freaking go. I was motivated and I knew that I knew what I had my hands on. And, you know, I was coachable and I was determined. So I was very slow. I didn't hit my VIPs about 4 weeks in, I hit 4K. My team hit 4K. 8 weeks in, we hit 12K. I got my auto car bonus. Started working my husband's account. A month later, he hit 4K. Then he hit 12K. So kind of started off a little timid at the beginning with like the not hitting the VIPs. But as soon as I figured out how to talk to people, and as soon as I started like kind of getting more comfortable, is when my business really started like skyrocketing. So within 7 months of doing this on the side, we hit 80K and I was able to quit my 9-to-5 job within 7 months of doing this with 0 experience. 11 months in, we hit 200K. So 11 months into doing this, my team hit, we hit the top rank of the company. And it just was crazy how it all happened. But this is why this story for you guys I love sharing my story, because we took off really freaking fast, but we've fallen and we've had a really freaking tough time since I've lost some people. So, anyway, so within, you know, here we are, 2019 started. 2020 is when we hit 200K. Around December of 2020 is when kind of things started. 2 girls on my team. One of them was a 40K, one of my best friends. She up and just left. Didn't hear anything from her. She just kind of up and left. A month later, my 80K was building a completely different business for 3 months and talking to people for 3 months while she was on my team and while she was a top leader on my team. And she up and just left. She was doing crypto or something like that. So yeah, so back-to-back months, y'all. A 40K who was a best friend of mine during the holidays. So all of this is happening during the holidays. And then the following month, I lost my 80K. And because of that, it was just, she took a lot of people with her. But what I found from this, so you got to think, you know, you go from the top, right? You go from 200K, and then all of a sudden that right there is 100K worth of volume, right? And a lot of people leaving. So I had to play damage control, and I had to remove a lot of people from my chats. I had to remove a lot of people from my team page. It was craziness. Like, it was craziness. And, but during this whole time, not once did I show that on my stories. Not once did I talk about it in a nasty post. Not once did I talk crap about anyone who left. And that is something that I really take pride in as a leader. And this is kind of one of the things I want to talk to you guys about, that I held all of that, like the composure and with grace, to the extreme. And I still have people on my team. I have leaders on my team now who are still with me, who went through that with me. And after losing those people, I found out, guys, and this is why I'm telling you, like, everything happens for a reason. It's all about God's timing. People leave on your team for a reason. Like, you will lose people in this business. If you haven't lost anyone on your team, like, I'm just saying, get ready, because it's going to happen. Like, you're going to lose people. That's just the nature of it, right? But by losing people, it's making room for those rock stars. It is making room for those people who are going to come in and just crush it. And so by losing them, I found out a lot of things were duplicated incorrectly, a lot of shady stuff they were doing. And, you know, I just think back, like, thank God they left when they did. Like, thank God that happened when they were a 40K and an 80K and not 200K leaders and me trying to play damage control, you know? And from them leaving, guys, when I look at the team that I have now and like the leaders that I have now, we still have not hit 200K since that. So we still have not hit 200. We've gotten to like 160. So we're like we've gotten really close, but we still have not hit 200K since December of 2020. So since then, I've really been working on rebuilding my team, bringing people in and looking at quality, not so much quantity, and just really having that strong foundation. And like the leaders I have now, I love them. Like, they are duplicatable, they are positive, they are motivated, they want this, like they just, it's crazy. And it's crazy how God removes people from your life for a reason and brings people on. Yes, quality over quantity. So if you guys are struggling in your business right now, and maybe you're having trouble like enrolling, or your team's having trouble enrolling, like, I would just sit back and think, like, man, that one person who views your story tomorrow, that one person could be your next 200K. Like, you never know who's watching you and who will be that next leader. So that's a little bit about my story, just how I got started, where I'm at now. And we're just continuing to build and continuing to keep it going.
I love that though, Sabrina, because I think oftentimes we come into this business and we look at, you know, leaders that have had quite a bit of success, right? And we don't get to see the in-between chapters, right? No. Like, we just look from the outside looking in, and we think it's just, you know, been easy peasy. But you guys, there is going to be adversity. There is going to be hard seasons. But I promise you, the quicker you are able, can you guys hear me okay? The quicker you are able to just fully surrender to know that it's not always going to be easy breezy, but it's having that faith to know that God is literally working it out for you. And every single season, the trenches, you guys, are what builds us, right? Like, we hear that all the time, but it's truly the truth. We get strength and endurance from the hard seasons and from the adversity. So I love that you said that, because it's not always going to be easy, guys. No. But is anything that's easy ever really worth it? No, it's not.
And I mean, I will tell you guys, like, I took 200K for granted. Like, I took that team that I had, like the leader that I was at that time, and how losing them and rebuilding and like working my butt off and working on a strong foundation, like the leader that I am now is a completely different leader than who I was at that point. And I am telling y'all, when we hit 200K with the team that I have now, that is going to be so much sweeter. That is going to be a hell of a lot sweeter than when we hit 200K the first time. Because man, the girls I have on my team, and I have a couple of guys, one guy leader, the team that I have now, I love them. I love them. And so everything happens for a reason. It's really, really true. So, and failing is part of growing, guys. Like, I've failed a lot. Like, I've done things wrong quite a few times, but that's the only way you're going to learn how to get better and how to not repeat that same mistake. But you're not going to learn if you don't try. And if you don't fail, like, you won't learn. So those of y'all who are scared, timid, you're like, I don't know if I can do that. Y'all just freaking do it. Like, you just gotta do it. You just gotta show up, right? You just gotta show up.
I think this is a good transition point for us to talk about comparison, you guys. Because
yes.
I feel like that is another part of our business where we, like, when we feel it and we see it, it's almost like, maybe that I'm not meant for this. This isn't for me, you know? And I've recently gone through this, guys. Like, I feel like it doesn't really ever stop. You just learn how to roll with it and find truth in it and who you are, your own authenticity, your own strengths, right? Like, it's going to be a part of your business. There's going to be seasons where you're going to just feel like, I don't know if this is for me. Like, I can't do it like her, or I don't speak like her, or I don't know how to show up or make graphics like her, or my leadership isn't her leadership style. It is part of the business. So I would love for you to talk a little bit about, like, your journey with, you know, and seasons that you've gone through in comparison too.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I've struggled with it. I still have my times where I've got to check my mindset, but now I know what I need to do. Like, but it's taken a little bit. So at the beginning, coming into this, I was very intimidated. Like, I don't know if y'all know, like, Ryan Van Gordon, Lindsey Goggin, even Courtney Glaser, Chelsea Cooper. Like, I was so intimidated by them and, like, their social media and all the followers they had. And here I was starting at like 200 followers on Instagram. Like, what do I do? You know? And that was very hard for me at the beginning because I was trying to duplicate what they were doing in their stories and on their posts, but it was not authentic to me. It was not me. Like, it was just like darker colors, a lot of tans, like, just, I don't know, their vibe just wasn't, and you could feel it. Like, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? And so when you're pretending to be someone you're not, and when I was, you know, kind of comparing myself, like, oh, I want to be like her, like, oh, I want to, like, that's when I got in my head and I was like, enough. I need to learn to own who I am, and I need to have fun, and I need to be true to me. And with that comes all the bright colors. Like, if y'all look at my Instagram page, it's just Sabrina 4. It is bright colors. It's like rainbows and sparkles and fun. And I've really learned to, hold on, where'd it go? Oh, there we go. Sorry, something popped up. I've really learned to own myself and to not compare. And instead of comparing myself to Coop and Courtney, I use them as inspiration. I use them as, instead of like, she's getting customers and I'm not, why is her account growing and mine's not? Like, no, what is she doing? I used YouTube a lot. I used Google a lot. Like, I put in the work and I used their content as ways to inspire me to be a better leader. So rather than comparing, use your peers and use, like, your upline and use your side sisters, like, use them as, you know, inspiration instead of comparing. And so that's kind of like the first stage. And then, you know, people have outranked me and now they're lower volume than me. It's one of those things, like, you can't get caught up in that. You've got to put your blinders on. You cannot get caught up in that, because the same thing goes for, like, when it's your time, it's your time. When it's your season, it's your season. All you got to do is stay in your own lane, put your blinders on, and continue doing what you're doing. And sit back and think, like, okay, am I doing all the things? Like, am I doing all the things? Am I showing up the way I need to be showing up? Or are there things I need to be working on to get to that other level? But the comparison game, like, that's a trap. And so when you feel your mind, when you feel like you're slipping through that, whether like you're looking at reels and you start like scrolling and comparing yourself to someone who's like incredible at reels, like, no. Like, you got to reel it back in. You got to remember, like, okay, what am I focusing on? And kind of go from there. Now I just know like how to catch it, I guess. Like, I know how, when my mind starts going there, I know that I need to pivot. And so try maybe doing that next time you feel like, man, I'm not going as fast as her. Like, just think, it's not my time. I have more growing to do. I need to work on myself. I need to work with my team. And then my time will come. So,
no,
Rebekah,
I love that, because that's the thing, you guys, is like, your heart has to be postured right. Okay. And if you've never done a business like this, and you've never, led a team of women who are really truly looking up to you for inspiration and guidance, like, you guys, we have to be postured right for that, because if not, guess what's going to happen? It will crumble. So instead of like getting in your head and getting in comparison, what I've been doing personally is like, where can I grow? How can I grow? God, grow my heart, search my heart. Like, how do I need to be postured right for the blessings that you have for me? Because the thing is, you guys, we're here for a reason. Everybody who's on this Zoom, this is for you. So the question that you need to start asking yourself is, where do I need to grow? And then you have to be courageous enough to actually do the work in that area, right? I mean, that's really what we do, you guys. When you hear people say that we are self-development with the paycheck, it's true. And your business can only truly go as far as your mind is. So that's something to think about. If you're not where you want to be, where do you need to grow? What area is it habits? Is it your routine? Are you still sleeping in and not getting up and doing your self-development and putting new information in your mind? This was huge for me. You guys know this. It was huge for me to put new wisdom, new knowledge, new information into my mind, to fill my mind full of positive stuff. If you're not taking the time to do that every single day, you guys, that is the missing link. You've heard me say this before, but our business is like a big puzzle. It's like one of those 5,000 piece puzzles. Okay. And self-development, what do we do? What do we put together first when you start with a puzzle? You're going to put together the outside, right? You're going to put together the foundation of the puzzle. That is self-development. So when you feel yourself slipping, you always go back to self-development, you guys. And self-development is going to look different in different seasons. Like I shared with you guys last week, I've been through self-development seasons where it was affirmations. It was like an hour of affirmations and gratitude. And I've been through self-development seasons where it was like Tony Robbins, and I needed someone to kick me in the butt, right? And now I'm in the season where it's like, Jesus is my teacher. That's where I go. I'm in my Bible. I'm at church. I'm serving at the church. Like, that is what season I'm in. But my point is, you guys, is that if you're in a season of comparison, you need to put your blinders on, because there is nobody who can run your business and be you better than you. And if you're trying to be somebody else, you guys, first of all, you might attract some people. You might be able to build a team, but it's not going to be a team that's going to go 200K with you, because they are not your people. And the only way that you can build a solid foundation, you guys, is truly being who you are. It's the only way I've figured out how to do it, and I've had to fail my way through that too. Did you have anything else on that? You guys want to drop some questions?
And you got to think too, like, I know, staying true to like your 5 pillars, right? Like, what are 5 things that set you apart from everyone else, right? So for me, I'm a mom life. Like, that is huge. Mom life, health and fitness, thriving, recovering like Adderall addict. I'm sober, vegan. Like, those are things that people come to my page for those specific things. Chelsea Cooper is a hockey wife. I know nothing about hockey wife. She's a dog mom. She doesn't have kids. Like, it's that kind of thing that you really need to sit back and think like, okay, what sets me apart from XYZ? What sets me apart? Who can I attract? Like, what makes me me? And guys, as soon as I started, like, your 5 pillars that will go through your stories, that will go through your reels, that will go through your feed. Those 5 pillars are key. So if you don't have those things and they can change. They can change. I haven't always been vegan, pescatarian. Like, before that, like, that's new. They don't have to be set in stone. But those are going to be the things that, like, using hashtags, reels, all of your content is going to come from those things. And the majority of who I enroll are moms. When you look at my team, like, the majority, besides, I mean, I have some girls who aren't, but a big part of my team, they're moms, because that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I love talking about. They're naturally gravitating to me. How'd you lose the postpartum weight? How do you have energy with the 2 toddlers running around? Like, how are you doing this? And I'm passionate about talking about that. You got to find things that you're passionate about talking about, and it will, I mean, I am telling you, it's going to be so easy to pop off on stories, to create content. Like, you won't even, and that's the thing. When I was trying to be someone I wasn't, I had such a hard time thinking of content. What am I going to post? What am I going to do? I felt so stuck and blah, and just like, this sucks. Like, what do I want to talk about? And as soon as I'm like, okay, this is it, is when it flipped. So those are kind of my main things that I would definitely say, Rebekah. Like, stay true to you, figure out your 5 pillars, and have fun. Like,
and you guys, if you don't have 5 pillars, that's fine. Pick 2.
Yeah, pick 2.
You know, like, the biggest thing about your pillars is just, who are you? Who are you speaking to? Because it's true, your vibe does attract your tribe. And if you're trying to be somebody else, you're not going to attract your people, period. So even if you just have 2 things that make you you, as you're growing and as you're developing your mind, as you start taking care of your body and you start really working this business, you guys, because this business is a lot more than, if you haven't noticed by now, it's a lot more than just throwing some products up on your story. Okay. So if you're working this business correctly, you are growing your mind, you're getting physically healthy. For me, that part took a little while because I had never been to the gym. I had never eaten correct. Like, I didn't know anything about anything when it came to health, but I was committed to this business, and I was committed to, and it's health and wellness, right? So if we're not developing ourselves in that area, maybe that's where you need to start. Maybe you need to commit to 20 minutes a day of moving your body and looking up. You guys, YouTube and Google are your best friends. Okay. That's where I've learned most of everything. If it's not in the team page, which would be hard to believe because our team page is bomb, but if it's not, you guys, Google is your best friend. Okay. You will find it there. So why don't you give us, let's see. Did we get any questions? I didn't even.
Well, and I want to say something about that too, about, like, we are a product of the product, right? And I'm not saying you need to be like a fitness model or anything like that. I've lost about 70 pounds from the products. Like, I am not one to where I can, just eat whatever I can eat and not lose weight. Like, I work really hard with staying fit. And you got to think, we are a health and wellness company. Period, right? Like, we promote vitamins, we promote shakes. Like, you've got to be taking people on your health and wellness journey. And if you aren't and that's not even having to do with weight, personal development, showing people what book you're reading. We are glorified storytellers. So, like, when I wake up, I show my capsules, I show me going for a walk. I do a boomerang of me going for a walk, or if I'm lifting weights, take people through your journey and make sure you're incorporating more than just graphics and Thrive. Like, people don't want to buy from, like, graphics. Like, sit back and think, like, would you want to buy from you? And I think about that all the time. Would I want to buy from myself? And at the beginning, all I was throwing down was graphics, and it was like boring. Like, you gotta intermix your life. Vitamins, the shakes, going for a walk. What are you eating? Like, I see Meredith getting it on the freaking treadmill right now while on this meeting. Like, she needs to post that. Like, that right there is so inspirational. Like, that is awesome. Like, that kind of thing, you're taking people through your journey. So make sure, yes, I just finished 75 hard. Way to go, man. Way to go. And that's the thing. Like if you're doing E60, if you want to do a challenge, like even if you don't want to do anything like that, just if you're walking with your kids, like that's what I did earlier today. I just finished 75 hard and I wasn't in the mood to do anything strenuous. So I did a boomerang and I'm pushing my kids like on a stroller. Like take people through your journey. They want to see that you're human, you know? And
yeah. Oh, sorry, Sabrina, go ahead.
No, I'm done. I could talk for forever. I'm done.
No, I love you. It's true though, you guys. Like I think back on my, journey and like when I first started with Thrive, you guys, I had the worst habits and patterns. Like I didn't do things with my kids. Honestly, I mean, the products gave me the energy and the focus and the clarity. And I shared that loud and proud, y'all. Like it has always been about, the products have always been the foundation of everything that I do and why I show up, because they truly changed my life. But I'll tell you what, if you're somebody who's still like, I just, I get energy from I feel pretty good. You need to think about your diet for one. Okay. So, because these should be making you feel bomb.com. If you're eating right and you're taking care of yourself and you're taking care of your mind, you should be feeling incredible every single day. But what motivated me, you guys, to actually, it kind of helped me with like the pattern of depression and anxiety, if that makes sense. Like I stayed in all the time with depression and anxiety. So yes, the products helped me, but I knew that I had to show up for this business and take people on my journey. So believe it or not, like I got out of my house and took my kids to the zoo so that I could show people I was out of my house, and I took my kids to the zoo. But it was like getting myself out of the old toxic habits and behaviors of just staying in the house all day, sleeping on the couch all day. You know what I mean? So even if you guys, it really is about taking people on the journey. Think about it. If I wouldn't have shared with people my journey from the studio apartment, y'all. And this is before I earned my car bonus. This was before I was 12K. This was before all the things, right? Like all the success, right? I told people where I was going. That is the vision. I painted my vision for people. I didn't have to be 12K to talk about 12K. I didn't have to have that Audi to talk about the Audi that I'm going to be getting when I get 12K. You know what I mean? So just know that you guys, you don't have to have reached a certain level. Paint the picture, tell the story. Why are you showing up every single day? Why are you here working on yourself? Why are you doing the hard things? And tell people about that, because that is what inspires people. You guys, it is our job to inspire people. So if you're not doing anything to inspire yourself on a day-to-day basis, you need to start there. That's where you have to start.
I remember like at the beginning, you're not going to have that success, right? Like maybe you don't really have a before and after. Like share other people, share your side sisters. I do that all the time. I share other people's before and afters. They get tired of looking at mine. I share some of the Lavelle reels. There's some really cool like Thrive Experience reels that I share onto my stories. Like before I had the auto car bonus, I shared other people's auto car bonus. People don't know, like people aren't going to look that far into it. Like you're sharing things, but you don't have it, show other people's success, show other people's results. They don't need to just see yours, and then as far as like self-development, y'all, because I didn't add this in, I do a ton of self-development. Like with 75 Hard, I think I just finished like 8 books. But I mean, I read every day. I listen to podcasts when I'm out for a walk or a run. In the car, I very rarely listen to music. I have an Audible or a podcast on. So that's so important, guys. If you're not fueling your mind, like you could fuel your body, of course, all day long. But if you're not getting your mind right, and if you're not fueling your mind right, then it's going to be very hard for you to grow as a leader. And it doesn't matter what rank you're at. You can constantly be growing. Like I am a constant student every day and learning something new every day. So
no, I love that, Sabrina. Okay. So I know that you have a Zoom to hop off. You guys, she had a Zoom like back to back and still did this.
No, you're good. I'm not leading it. So someone else is
okay.
leading it.
All right,
so
you guys
I just have to be on it.
You guys can actually, so if anybody has any questions, I'm cool if you guys just unmute. Don't be shy. Y'all know that these Zooms scare the crap out of me, and I'm here doing it because I love you guys and I'm here growing. So unmute yourself and ask some questions if you have any. No. Leah, you got anything? Got any questions?
I have a question.
Okay, let's hear it, babe.
So lately, I have been really struggling with the whole starting to become successful at making my posts and showing up loud and proud. And then for whatever reason, I get scared and feel like I am not worthy of being able to make these posts. And so I kind of back off. How did, first of all, you guys go through this? And second of all, how did you deal with it? Because it's getting really frustrating for me. And I don't know how to break out of this habit.
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. So, Rebekah, you want me to answer it? Okay. I think part of that I always go back to is Jennifer, it's scary being vulnerable. Like, it is very scary to be vulnerable and to like share what's on your heart, especially like on social media. But I think about it this way, right? Say that one person, that one post that you put together, and that one person who's been struggling, like that post changed their life. Like that post that you wrote made all the difference, and they needed that. They needed what you had to say, but because you didn't post it, like they weren't saved. And I think about that. What if Courtney wouldn't have posted? What if Courtney wouldn't have showed up? Like I wouldn't be here. Like the thousands of customers we've helped wouldn't be here. So I would say to that, like, it's scary at first. It's scary. Like I was just recently open about, I've been open about Adderall addiction. Like I just recently was open about, drinking alcohol and now becoming sober. And that's very scary. But you got to flip your mind and thinking like, man, it's helping people. Like what a blessing that we have this social media platform to where we can make a difference and make an impact. And so I would say, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. And you'll be surprised at who it helps. Like
I think for me, like that was a little bit uncomfortable for me. And I still go through seasons and different things that I'm going through. That's almost like, I'm like, ooh, should I share this? But the thing about it is you guys, this isn't about us, but here's the silver lining is it's not about us. It is that one person on the other side of the screen. You all know, I feel like this business saved my life. It didn't change my life. It saved my life. Okay. So there's that one person on the other side of the screen that needs that. Right. But what I found in my own personal journey and being vulnerable and being loud and proud about who I am and what I've overcome and where I'm going is that it has been a full circle healing moment. Maybe not right away, right? Maybe I don't get this out there and I get immediate results, or someone jumps into my inbox and says, oh my gosh, you inspired me so much. Maybe that's not the case. But at some point, every single vulnerable moment that I've had, and I've been willing to feel uncomfortable, been willing to feel unworthy of posting something that's vulnerable, and I did it anyway, it's always come full circle and been so healing to just get it out there, push it out, leave the pain out there. And you guys, once you start doing that and you do get the messages from people and they're like, girl, and if you've been here and you've been vulnerable enough in this business on your social media, you've gotten messages from people that told you, thank you so much. Like you saved my day. I've had people tell me that I've saved their lives.
Yeah.
Okay. So this isn't about you. Yes, it's about you, but this isn't about you. This is about the person on the other side of that screen that needs your voice, your experience, your victories, your struggle. Okay. So when you can look at it like that and just change your perspective, it becomes beautiful. Like I love sharing vulnerably now. It's who I am. People know my story. Some of my biggest supporters, you guys, it's not my friends. It's not my family. Yeah, they support me, but some of my biggest supporters are from social media, people I've never met before.
Yeah.
Like they're my biggest cheerleaders, like cannot wait for me to go 200K because I have taken them vulnerably and authentically through the journey. And that's what it's about, you guys. It's about the process, and it's about learning to love the process. Because here's the thing, not every season feels good. I'm in a weird season right now, okay? I'm in a weird season. But here's what I know. I know that when I come out of this, there is breakthrough, there is knowledge, there is wisdom, there is training. There's training. I get to teach you guys through get you guys through some of the things that I'm going through right now. So when you start to really embody that and say, you know what, this is kind of crappy. This doesn't feel good, but you know what? I'm gonna come out of this stronger. I'm gonna come out of this wiser, and I'm gonna learn something from this. It's strengthening me. It's strengthening my mind. It's strengthening my soul. It's strengthening my character, right? It's all worth it. Like, I don't like, I'm not scared of hard seasons anymore. I'm like, bring it on, let's go. Mm-hmm. You know, it doesn't make it easy. It just means that I know what's on the other side of that because I'm putting in the work. Right. Did anybody else have any more questions?
Yes, I came up with one since you called me out. I was like, you know what? I do have a question. So talking about comparison trap and kind of like just comparing yourself to other top leaders. So in your journey, you know, getting to the top rank of the company and all of that, as you were going from someone who was, you know, maybe, you know, knowing nothing about network marketing to all of a sudden leading like a mass team. So how did you start implementing like your own systems and your own trainings and things like that to really step into your leadership, since it kind of happened so quickly? So I guess that if that's a question.
Oh, good.
Yeah, thank you. No, that's a great question. I would definitely say like Courtney helped me tremendously, like working with your upline. And if you don't have an upline, like working with a side sister, Courtney's upline, they all left. She's had no one. So she's learned on her own, or she's reached out to other side sisters. So I would say just learning from someone who's been there was a big thing, because this was all new territory to me, creating a team page, like working through all of that. And then the same goes for when it fell, like Courtney's had that happen. So talking to her and getting guidance on like how to handle certain situations, creating my team page, creating trainings, definitely talking to her. Coop is another one, Chelsea Cooper, piggybacking off other side sisters, kind of seeing what they're doing and then kind of putting my own spin on it, I would say. And then just trial and error. Like right now with my team, we have every Wednesday night, we have a training that we do. And every Wednesday night, I empower one of my leaders, and then they get to pick someone who's not on my leadership team to get like outside of their bubble. So that's not only empowering a leader of mine, it's empowering someone to start scared. Leading a training is very scary, like at first. So leading something like this used to scare the crap out of me. Same with leading millionaire mindset meetings, Sunday huddles, that kind of thing, huge trainings. But like, I see my girl Kyla's on here, and Kyla, like she's one of them who, you know, she led one of my Wednesday night trainings and it was super scary, but man, she grew from that, you know? So trial and error, piggybacking off of what other people are doing, and definitely reaching out to my upline for guidance of someone who's been there before.
And that's the thing too, you guys, if the system is not broke, don't try to fix it.
Yeah.
Like we have such a great onboarding program. We have such a great leadership, you guys. And of course, if you feel like that tug on your heart and you have that like inspired action, or you have an idea, you guys, bring it to the table. Yes. That is how you grow in leadership. That more than leadership, that is how you grow in confidence, right? So if it's not broke, don't fix it. And if you have ideas, you guys, bring it to the table, because I feel like that type of stuff like literally puts like little tokens into your confidence bucket, and it builds you, and it builds your character, and it builds your confidence. Okay.
And I would say too on that, like don't do it for you. Like, and at first I was kind of like more like I was a selfish leader. I would say at 200K, I was more like, what could I do for me? Like I wasn't really thinking about how I can empower the leaders under me to be able to gain like that experience. And that's why I'm saying I'm like a completely different leader now. So I would think how can I empower my team? How can I make them rise up to that next level? Because I wanted to do everything myself. I want to lead the trainings. I want to put together the graphics, like, but I'm not good at everything. Like, I've learned a lot from my other leaders. Like, by empowering them, it's taken a huge, I don't want to say load off of me, but like, it's taken a little bit off of me, but it's helped them grow into that next level of leadership that they need. Like, they need that. Like, I'll never forget 2 weeks in, Courtney asked me to speak at a local, and Paul was there 2 weeks in. And I was scared to death of public speaking. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, I would black out sweating. Like, I have not always been this comfortable with speaking to people. It's taken a lot of practice. And I'll never forget when Courtney asked me to do that 2 weeks into saying yes to this. And I'm like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. But by her pushing me to do that, man, that is when I'm like, if I could do this, like, bring it on. And then I started leading our morning meetings and helping with Sunday night huddles and stuff. So definitely, like, lean on other people, but also see how you could duplicate that down to your downline.
Yes, it's actually, I mean, that's what we do, you guys. We duplicate leadership. You know, we're not supposed to carry the whole load. You might be able to get to 200K by yourself, but you ain't going to be able to sustain it by yourself. You have to be able to create that leadership. And that's just what we do. So with that being said, you guys, for June, we have a bunch of different things coming up, things we're going to we're still figuring it all out. So I don't want to spill all the beans, but if you and your team want to host a work with me, just a random work with me, or you want to lead a training, or you have something on your heart, you guys reach out to me or Britt or Jenna, and let us know, because, you know, that's the other thing is, like, almost closed mouths don't get fed. Like, and it's going to be scary. Okay. It's going to be scary. You're going to feel resistant. Your mind is going to be telling you. Okay. So I'm going to warn you now. So you know that it's normal. Your mind is going to tell you that you're not worthy, capable, or qualified. Okay. But it's a lie. That is a lie, 100% a lie. And the only way to get through that, you guys, is to go through it. And I know this from personal experience. Okay. So I love you guys. If you guys don't have any other questions, we'll let you go, Sabrina. I just love you so much. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you.
I feel like we make a good team.
This was so fun. Like, thank you for letting me do this. And like, one last thing I just want to say is, guys, your team is watching you. Like, they are watching what you do. And so just think about that, like, for the rest of this month and moving forward, like, how are you showing up? Like, are you showing up? Are you being the example to your team? Because if you're not posting, if you're not going live, if you're not stepping up and hosting these trainings that you have coming up in June, how do you expect your team to follow your lead? They're not. You're the one that needs to go first. You're the one that needs to set the bar, and they'll follow. They'll follow. So thank you so much for having me on. This was awesome.
Hopefully, I love you. Bye, you guys. Love you. Bye.
Bye, guys.